Hey everybody, my name is Aaron and I am so grateful to be here with you guys tonight. I am a proud papa of 4 amazing little kids. I've been married to my wife now for 13 years and we all live here in upstate New York, and we attend and live at this amazing church which is called Gospel Lighthouse Church. Here, I'm the worship leader, and I actually get to share the stage with my amazing wife, who is singing her face off and slamming the devil to where the devil is supposed to be. This last year has been really interesting and has taken a toll on my family in some different ways. It was Mother's Day last year when I heard my wife's voice screaming down the hallway outside, but I couldn't quite make out what she was saying. We could look about a block over and we saw that our house was engulfed in smoke and flames. And by the time we had ran over there, there wasn't much we could do, but God was with us the entire time and still is, helping us get through that situation. About a month later, my wife screaming down the hallway one more time. I didn't realize that she was with our baby girl, who was blue and lifeless because of a seizure that she had. And I'm so grateful for her mom, who was with her, because if you weren't, I don't know if we would still have her today. But I'm so happy to say that she is doing great and running around with her brothers and sisters and causing us headaches all day long. Well, shortly after that, my son had taken a pretty good fall, and he ended up in 2 different hospitals that night with a skull fracture. I guess I just say all of this tonight because life is never going to be easy. There's always going to be storms, but I can promise you going through those storms with God is a lot easier than going through those storms without God. I grew up in the arts. I loved singing, I loved dancing. After that, I moved to New York City for college and just started performing. I did some amazing things. I performed on Broadway and I headlined some shows out in Las Vegas, and things looked good on the outside for me, but on the inside, the world was a little different. At a very young age, I suffered through some awful sexual experiences with older men in my life. I was told by so many people that I wasn't masculine enough, or that I would never be good at being a boy, or I didn't even fit into this world. And I guess those labels also made me feel like I didn't fit into the church. But there was one moment in particular, just before I left to go to college. There was a family that attended our church, and the girl was about my age, and a tragic accident had happened in their life, which put a little distance between us. But I felt God kind of reaching out and telling me to connect with her and just get together. So I thought, okay, God, I will do this. So I connected with her, and like any good guy friend did, I asked her if I could take her out and do her makeup. Well, I know that might sound strange to some of you guys, but most of the things I did growing up was with girls, because at that point, I knew I couldn't trust boys. So, long story short, her mom found out that I was the one that did her makeup, and she contacted our pastor, and basically I walked into a meeting where I was told that boys shouldn't do makeup and shouldn't do hair. And he, like everyone else, I guess, drew to some conclusions and labeled me as something I felt that I wasn't. I moved to New York and I went to college, and there life took some different turns for me. I was affirmed physically and I guess emotionally by men in a way that I hadn't experienced before. And I know a lot of people potentially haven't walked in those shoes and don't get that, but it was something that filled a hole that was growing in my life for a long time. I found myself going through a lot of rocky relationships, and at the end of probably what was one of the worst relationships, I found myself on my kitchen floor just struggling and wondering what the next steps for my life were. And I was praying and reaching out to God and just saying, God, this can't be all that you have for me. My life just didn't feel affirming at that point, and I just felt completely lost and empty. Well, God reached down to me at that moment and he said, you need to leave this life behind and meet me out on the water. And so you know what? That's what I did. I called and booked a singing gig on a cruise ship. Well, God met me there, and he reminded me that I was made beautifully and wonderfully in his image. It was actually his design to make me sensitive, caring, and charismatic, with this random flair for the arts that I happen to have. The world tried to twist the life that God had originally planned for me, and that is just like the devil, isn't it? You know, performing in New York City, which was a pretty cool experience, I had family and friends that would come and visit me, and like any good New Yorker would do, I would take them all down to Chinatown, because there you could get a Rolex watch, a Louis Vuitton, or anything else you could find up on Fifth Avenue for about 80% cheaper. Yeah, sure, when you got it, it looked like the real thing, it felt like the real thing, and probably even gave you all the real feels like the real thing, but it wasn't the real thing. And that is what the devil is going to do with our life. He's going to take everything that God designed for good and twist it. It doesn't matter what the world labels you as, whether you are gay or whether you are straight. Just like those bags in Chinatown, the world is gonna fall apart around you and people are just gonna wear out, and so will your relationships. But there is one relationship that will not wear out and that will not ever let you down, and that is a relationship with a God who truly loves you. I found through all of my relationships that there really was only one man that could ever affirm me, validate me spiritually, mentally, and emotionally, and that was Jesus. And that's the Jesus that I want you to know today, because I promise you, he will walk with you through every storm and every trial that ever comes against you. I gotta stop my message here or they're not gonna let me sing. Choose your words carefully, and God bless.